Alright, so it's another Saturday night and you're chilling with the bros at the local bar watching some UFC. For the 103rd time, you see yet another Dagestani win another fight by smash or submission. You've had a little too much to drink and are tired of the same Mountain Dude winning. You go ahead and tell the guys you're calling it a night. On your walk home, you make a couple wrong turns as you may or may not have drank a little too much. You know, a couple of brewskis, maybe a Thai Tuivasa Shui of that disgusting proper 12. Lo and behold, you end up in a dark alley. You see John Jones running off after hitting another pregnant woman and Yoel Romero barking in the corner. Nothing surprising there, but out of the corner of your eye and Bisping's and Magomedov's fake eye, as well as Bilal's lazy eye, you see a man standing there with no mustache and a beard, just repeating the word smash. He begins immediately wrestling you, which unknowingly to you is their form of saying hello. But since you don't know that, you begin to go full self-defense mode, which is why you're thankful during these holiday times that I put out this step-by-step guide on how to beat a Dagestani. I'm going to give you the full rundown and break down this complex topic into 3 simple steps. I know they're not all Dagestanis, but I'm just going to go ahead and generalize all these Sambo guys as Dagestani. Step 1. Don't get taken down. As simple as that, my people. Genius, I know, right? Thank you, thank you. Jokes aside, takedown defense is your friend here. But just having good takedown defense won't be enough. These guys have all been grappling since popping out the goddamn womb. And I'm not talking regular old wrestling or jiu-jitsu. A lot of these guys are training freestyle sambo, which is basically MMA grappling. Freestyle sambo includes throws, ground control, and submissions. Fields like judo, wrestling, and BJJ all focus on specific aspects. The most well-rounded grappling style out of all these is sambo. Even the most elite of wrestlers seem to be outplayed by the Dagestanis. Examples include Justin Gaethje and Kamaru Usman. Both guys were highly rated in the takedown defense department, but Hamza and Khabib just took them down without much of a struggle. So how do you not get taken down then? Well, I think you need to first put yourself in a position to not get taken down. You'll want to be the forward-pressing fighter. Whatever you do, do not fear the takedown. Keep it in mind, but don't let it completely neutralize your offense. You need to be confident on the feet and make the Dagestani or combat sambo guy be the one backing up. Doing that will help you dictate where the fight goes. You'll have octagon control and be able to manage distance better. Things like long jabs, oblique kicks, and footwork. Stay moving and keep up the pressure. Not if, but when they shoot a takedown, you'll better be able to see it coming. When you have that distance created and have the opponent backing up, the takedown attempt will be more telegraphed. You gotta make the fight go at your pace. Step 2. You gotta own the clinch. The first fight between Volkanovski and Islam is a good example here. When you stop a takedown attempt, most times you'll end up in a clinch situation. Here is where you need to once again forward press and keep that control. Now Volko did this through sheer power. If Kelvin is a fridge, that dude is a mini fridge. Most guys will need to use technique. Things like head and hand control, knees, and switching angles. Don't just get backed up to the fence while clinching. Try to keep the Dagestani's head and hands in check while also keeping a good base and mixing in some knees in offense. But even if you follow these steps, most likely you'll still end up on your back, which leads to step 3. Go crazy from your back. Now, what I mean by this is imagine you as a young kid again and your uncle or stepdad gets a hold of you. Like a solid, firm grasp. You know what I mean? Once you're on your back, start throwing everything including the goddamn kitchen sink. Elbows, hammer fists, some sand. You make it chaotic down there. This is where those creatures thrive. They love to be on the ground and up in your crotch, so you gotta make home not feel like home. The best way to do this is to smell like shit. Don't shower for months before the fight. As soon as you sign that contract, throw out any items having to do with hygiene. Toothbrushes, soap, shampoo. By the time fight week has arrived, anyone within a 15-foot radius of you should already know without even seeing you. I want to see Nina's or Sanko's eyes water and hear them gag while they're trying to interview you. Whatever the hell John Morgan smells like after going up a flight of stairs on his way to the media room, you want to be damn near that. Also, while on the ground, throw some submissions up. You know, a couple armbar attempts, maybe a triangle or some leg locks. Make it hectic. Anything to open up a path where you can get back to your feet. Unless you're roided up the ass like T-Bow or have that gypsy strength like Volko, you're most likely not going to be able to outmuscle a Dagestani. His skill and technique is just too good. Now, don't go too crazy and get submitted, but also just don't lay there and lose a boring decision. I always see guys who end up on the ground trying to crawl their way to the fence to get back to their feet. Normally, this is what you'd want to do, but in the case of a Dagestani, I say stay in the middle of the octagon. Dagestanis seem to have mastered being up against the fence and laying down some heavy ground and pound. If you're in the middle of the octagon, you'll have more ways of scrambling out and getting back to your feet. Conor had success defending Khabib, but this was when they were in the middle of the octagon. As soon as they got up against the fence, it was game over. Conor literally got submitted up against the fence. Stay the hell away from the fence. I mean, grappling has always been the best base in MMA. It most likely will always be the best base. When you take someone down that can't get back up, the fight is over. The thing with grappling is it puts you in an advantageous environment and neutralizes the opponent's offense. It's tough to work against gravity and fight off your back. Your punches aren't as heavy and the judges favor the guy on top. Even if he isn't throwing much, just him being on top will more than likely be enough to win a round. So the trick to countering a good grappler is just being good at grappling too. You don't have to be a damn 3-time gold medalist, but at least know the basics. How to sprawl, make the right steps to get off from your back, make the transitions, all the good stuff. Look at Ngannou's improvements on the ground throughout his career. He got smoked by Stipe the first fight and could not get off his back the entire 5 rounds. Like, that shit was embarrassing seeing as he had like 40 pounds on him. Stipe is in the 230s. Ngannou gotta be in the 270s. Also, is Ngannou not taking steroids? Why has no one ever talked about this? Like, there is no way he hasn't taken steroids, right? Last time I checked, I didn't know digging dirt brought you to damn near classic physique bodybuilding levels. What type of dirt we digging here, people? Oops, sorry sir, I seem to have slipped and injected myself with 100 milligrams of Tren. Anyways, after that first Stipe loss, fast forward to his last 2 fights, the man put on a wrestling and grappling clinic. He completely ran through Gane, out-grappling him for 5 rounds. And then in the rematch with Stipe, Ngannou even hit him with a sprawl and then took Stipe down himself. Not to say Ngannou is a god at grappling, but him having the basics at least lets him showcase his striking. He ended up KOing Stipe after keeping the fight on the feet. So kids, remember to eat your GH-infused Wheaties and put in that grappling work in the gym. And that's about it. That's my step-by-step guide. Step 1, don't get taken down. Step 2, own the clinch. And step 3, go crazy off your back. In all honesty, MMA is a game of evolutions. Over the years, we've had these phases or eras where a certain style will dominate. We've had a BJJ dominant era, a range and striking era, a ground and pound heavy era. But over the past 10 years or so, we're entering a period where being well-rounded in all facets is the move. A lot of these guys coming up nowadays are specifically training MMA and are having goals of being in the UFC. They're training MMA from day one. The overall level of competition today is much higher than years ago. All the champs today, aside from Alex Pereira, have good grappling as well as striking. You need to be good in all arts and then choose an art you want to be elite at. A jack of all trades but a master of one trade. Islam's good at striking but a master of grappling. Sean O'Malley's good at grappling but a master of striking. The Dagestani era is only a couple years old, introduced when Khabib made his rise. As time goes on, fighters will adapt, and as the great Kevin Lee once said, there will be holes in their game.